Hey, everybody. Welcome once again to the Wrestling Inc. podcast. I'm Glenn Rubenstein. It is Wednesday, October 18th, 2017. We're going to talk about SmackDown from October 17th today. Talk about what's going on in the WWE, rumors about wrestlers and their status, what's going on. So much to talk about. Mr. Giri joining us. How's it going, man?
Good, man. How are you?
Doing well, man. Doing well. This week is flying right by. SmackDown last night. That was something.
Yeah. We'll get into it.
Totally, man. I mean, it's crazy. You know, with TLC coming up this weekend, we've got a while till Survivor Series. SmackDown really laying the groundwork for that last night, especially with the stuff with Jinder and Brock. But hey, man, so today's your birthday. Happy birthday, Raj.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate it. 42 years old. And I started the website back in '96 as a newsletter called the Wrestling Gazette. It would go out over email as a Microsoft Word document. I tried to make it look really cool, different than what was out there. And then that fall, started a GeoCity site, and then that winter, Wrestling Inc. So 96, 21 years ago. So I've now been doing this half my life.
Wow.
Yeah.
How's that working out for you?
There are a lot worse things you could be doing. It's amazing. I never thought that, I'd be doing this for that long. And it's amazing. I love it.
Yeah, totally, man. Congrats. It's awesome. You know, from age 14 to 28, I wrote about video games professionally as a journalist. And when I hit the half my life point, I said, I have to do something different, man. Like I was just said, it wasn't fun anymore. And I know weeks, I mean, we talk about, weekends like WrestleMania or WrestleMania week now, as it were, and SummerSlam, and the times when you've got so much going on. And I got to give credit to you, man, because to be this invested in it after doing it professionally, I always make the joke that somewhere out there's a professional ice cream taster that loathes going to work every day in the morning. And so your enthusiasm definitely is commendable.
Ah, thank you. Yeah, I love it. It's awesome, man. Yeah, I mean, there are times when I think, especially when there's something tragic that happens, it can be tough to deal with because there are some realities of pro wrestling that have gotten better since I've started. But yeah, other than that, it's a lot worse jobs to have. So, and
that's true.
And there were times when I would have another job on the side, and it would just suck. So.
Yeah, I don't know, man. Sometimes you don't get to that third hour of Raw and just think about I could be doing anything else right now with my life. I could be, dealing with spreadsheets every day.
Right.
Database management.
Cool. I was originally a programmer, and just after a certain point, it's just not interesting anymore. So.
That's true, man. That's true. So do we want to talk about SmackDown first, or some of the rumors that are going around right now?
Why don't we get into some of the rumors and I mean, some of it's not, Nia Jax, obviously, that's something we wanted to talk about. Reportedly granted a leave of absence from WWE. Neville, obviously, something happened last week. He apparently was not at Raw, but Nia Jax, Neville.
All the end wrestlers. All the end wrestlers are leaving.
Yeah, PW Insider saying that Jax has not quit the company. So it looks like it is a leave of absence for whatever reason. You got Total Divas coming up next month. She has been retweeting stuff about Total Divas, some interviews she's done. So I don't know. I don't know. I mean, she's been getting a good push. Has been on a lot of pay-per-view. She was originally scheduled for Raw last Monday night. Not this past Monday, but the week before.
Yeah.
And then she never appeared on the show. And she was not in that, what was that, like a 5-way or 4-way or whatever it was. And so it's kind of odd that there was no mention of it until yesterday or the day before, whatever it was. Because she wasn't on the road. And hopefully everything's okay.
Yeah.
I know there's a lot of wrestlers unhappy. A guy, it was one of the wrestlers texted me the day before yesterday, asking me if I knew how much certain wrestlers made that are on the indies. So
That's funny you mentioned this. So I've talked about before my day job. So I do podcast advertising sales through my own agency. I get the same text from podcasters that are on networks saying, "Hey, what does so-and-so make? If I were to quit my job here, what do you think I could make on my own?"
Yeah.
That's where it all starts. But that's interesting. So you think definitely there's truth to Meltzer's tweet that has everyone buzzing now that a lot of wrestlers are considering their status in the WWE.
Oh, I'm sure. I mean, think about the cruiserweights, right?
Yeah.
How many of them even get to be on pay-per-view? Especially regularly. And if you're not the champ or in the title picture, you rotate in and out, but you're talking maybe 3 pay-per-views a year if you're not in the title picture.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, it's and even the main guys aren't necessarily making a ton unless you're like, at the top. So,
yeah. No, and they got to pay for their own travel on top of that. They're still independent contractors. It seems like with that life, you could have a much lighter schedule and probably make comparable money at the very least and just not have to deal with the politics.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just too bad there's not a strong number 2. As far as you're able to make good money on the indies if you've got the right name. It's not like everyone leaves WWE and it can make a ton on the indies. I mean, we've seen guys in the past are really doing nothing right now. Jack Swagger.
Yeah. Damian Sandow.
Yeah, Sandow. I mean, there's just so many guys that Cody is almost more of an exception than the rule.
Yeah. So. Ryback is now known more as a podcaster than a wrestler.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
No, it's crazy, man. I mean, but so with the Neville thing, have you heard anything about it? It seems like it's just all.
So it seems like it's been going for a while. So Neville apparently was not happy that and he wasn't the only one. Austin Aries wasn't happy that their match was cut off the WrestleMania DVD.
Yeah.
So, the WrestleMania DVD didn't have the kickoff, so they got no royalties from that. And I think just stemming from there. But I don't know, it sounds odd in this day and age that losing to Enzo would be the straw that broke the camel's back. I don't know. I'm sure it's a bunch of stuff that built to it. And I think what it could have been, and I wouldn't be surprised about this, is Neville, as a cruiserweight, if you're not in the title picture, you're not really making money on pay-per-views. So, and it almost looks like they are overcompensating this week because they got like 3 cruiserweight segments now. Yeah, but that just happened.
3 women's segments on single brand pay-per-view.
Right, which is the first time I think that's happened. So hopefully they're realizing there's an issue there. But I could see Neville seeing, like, losing to Enzo, that he's not going to be in the title match at the next pay-per-view, and just throwing his hands up, being like, well, that's it.
If he left, that last promo he cut with leading the whole division out there to beat down Enzo, what a way to go out.
Yeah, no kidding. And he's so good, and he's just, the work he's done over the past year, he's someone I could easily see making it, big time on the indies.
Yeah, we'll see, man. I mean, but that's the thing. It's just so such a roll of the dice out there. But now, with everything that's going on, I mean, what do you make of that? Did you see the Vice article about the being the elite, about the selfie incident and Jimmy Jacobs and whatnot, talking about this is all a sign that the WWE fears, not now, but where it's going with the popularity of the Young Bucks?
I think that's silly. I think WWE has always been like that. You're not telling me that they would have been happy if someone did this in the 90s, if Shawn Michaels would, forget the top guys. If the Godwins were at remember the Highlanders showed up to Impact taping and they were fired. So, they've always been like that. So I don't think this is indicative of anything. Jimmy Jacobs is just, he's not high on the totem pole. So they want to send a message. Yeah.
Which is weird, man, because you hear nothing but great stuff about him when he's done in a creative role.
Right. And trust me, look, if Jimmy Jacobs, if this is fearing the elite or ROH, if Jimmy Jacobs showed up at Impact, the same thing would have happened.
People would have felt like, what the hell is Jimmy Jacobs doing at Impact?
Right. Well, you're risking your job over that.
Yeah.
The TNA conference call yesterday was about Impact Pizza. So that's kind of what their big announcements have been lately. So anyway, They've always been like that. So it shouldn't come as any surprise, but it's too bad. Yeah. Cause I don't know if you saw that article that we had yesterday of Chris Jericho on Busted Open, just talking about like how basically Jimmy Jacobs was his co-writer.
Yeah.
Like everything was him, you know, the two of them. So
yeah, I mean, you look at the Kevin Owens DVD with the documentary that came out a couple months ago. He was all over that. I mean, it seems like they when's the last time? Actually, that's a good question. It's rare. What I thought was so striking about the Kevin Owens DVD, when do you see a backstage guy in one of those documentaries that's not Michael Hayes?
Right. That's not someone that was a well-known WCW, WWF guy. Yeah.
Yeah. You know, or Fit Finley or, you know, someone like that. It's so it was weird to see that Jimmy Jacobs is all over that Kevin Owens DVD and documentary. So I thought that was really interesting. But yeah, man, we'll see.
And Jericho, you know, even Jericho was saying that's kind of a dumb move, you know, Jacobs did that because especially using those hashtags, you know, when you're, WWE, they're petty about stuff like that. Always have been.
Yeah, it's crazy, man. It's crazy. So, stay tuned to Wrestling Inc. for the latest news about who's leaving next and what's going on there. So SmackDown last night. And
real quick, you know, New Japan is, you know, they did the little, their shows in LA. I feel like now is, if they ever wanted to create a second brand, you know, like Raw and SmackDown, they have a Japan brand and an American brand. I feel like now seems to be just the right opportune time. You know, there seems to be enough of a fan base that, and New Japan seems to be the hottest of all of them. Hotter than ROH. ROH feels the hottest when they have New Japan guys.
Yeah.
So, I think there's an opportunity there that they can really take advantage of.
Yeah, I think the question is, how do they get enough of a national presence with live events to really make the promotion go beyond? You know, I think doing something, what was it, in Long Beach? That's great. Right. But the question is, Ring of Honor has always had that problem, like really maintaining a national presence with live events.
That is the thing. But I don't know if they necessarily need to do a full touring live event system yet, because they still have Japan. So they could have the guys do American TV where you got an American look and feel. Yeah. Work Japan live events, try to increase more and more, because they already have that fallback. You know, where they could do live events, where they are doing live events. So it's not like they're in desperate need to get that going.
Well, so this is apropos, given the WrestleMania tickets are going on sale soon. When do you think the WWE starts trying to exert more control about the competing promotions treating WrestleMania weekend like their time? You know?
Yeah, they have been. They, I mean, they put a blockade in Dallas where, was it Dallas or was it? I think or it was San Francisco, San Jose when they did it, where you know they wouldn't allow like a lot of the competing organizations to run smaller buildings, so they had to do it pretty far.
Yeah,
and I think even last year ROH they had to do their show, you know, way out of the way. So they're trying to exert that control because you know that is their thing, but you know that's I don't know. You're kind of screwing the fans over too, because your shows are going to be sold out. So it's not like you're hurting yourself at all.
Dallas, Dallas, everything seemed to be happening in that one area downtown.
Yeah.
When I was there, I mean, actually, I think that was probably the best for overlap. It seemed that it was so commingled, but I think we can only anticipate what are the Young Bucks going to do at WrestleMania. They're going to crash Access. You know, I'm sure there'll be a big Being the Elite episode, and who knows? Maybe their posse will grow.
Yeah.
You know? But it's crazy, man. And yeah, WrestleMania tickets, they go on sale a couple weeks, November?
Yeah. It's on the site a week from Friday, is that? Or 2 weeks from Friday? So
it's for New Orleans this year. You're anticipating this year. I didn't feel bad about skipping Orlando.
Yeah. I was too busy, but New Orleans was a blast. That's another one where, well, not all the shows necessarily congregated. The ones I went to were, there were a couple at the House of Blues. I went to DDP's birthday, which was at the House of Blues. But
nice.
Yeah, it should be fun this year. It's cool, like on Bourbon Street, and you'll just randomly see wrestlers, you know, walking down, and Pat Patterson singing, stuff like that.
No, it's awesome, man.
Yeah.
I tell you, it becomes more and more like Comic-Con every year.
Yeah, someone's mentioning that they're surprised Daniel Bryan has not been on Being in the Elite. I bet you that all stops now that Jimmy Jacobs is fired. I think people know now that WWE is taking it seriously.
Yeah, but what's that tweet he did last night where he added the ellipsis to Sami Zayn's quote? I mean,
yeah, well, he was saying he retweeted about his contract being up in September.
Yeah. I mean, he's either working everyone huge or.
Well, he has that luxury because he's not in the ring. But someone like a Kevin Owens or Sami Zayn, if I could see them if they being worried about losing their push. So
they were on they weren't on. They cameoed.
They were before it. I feel like that invasion thing did kind of piss off WWE something fierce,
which is weird. It was clearly such a stunt.
And it's what they did before. They're doing their own idea. So.
Yeah, maybe that's what
that's WWE for you.
So Owens and Zayn, man, last night. Okay, so on one hand, yes, Sami Zayn is getting a push. I mean, right? This is undeniable right now that they're pulling the trigger on Sami Zayn.
Yeah, I thought that was the most entertaining Sami Zayn has been since he's been on the main roster. I thought he was great. How he just changed his dance coming out to that smuggish, annoying, I thought he was great. I thought he was fantastic.
Could you believe? I can't remember the last time I saw somebody do this, and maybe it goes to show that the boos are definitely a kayfabe thing. But how he would like praise Bryan and get the crowd cheering, and then they would start booing him. And I mean, I've never seen someone in recent memory work the crowd that well in terms of going the gamut. But yeah, this character, it's different, man. I mean, maybe it's a little more closer to how people say he is behind the scenes and sort of that Larry David-esque, like, sort of smug thing. But yeah, man, he pinned Randy Orton in the main event. That's sure he had to, punch him in the crotch first. But
yeah, but still, I thought Sammy was great here. Veggie Gamers bringing up that Sammy is literally just replacing Jericho as Kevin's friend. The difference this time is Kevin is more receptive of it, because the whole time with Jericho that was really into the friendship, and Owens, you could tell, was kind of just using him, whereas now they both seem like they're into it. I don't know. It's some of the stuff that they were doing just cracked me up. I thought they were fantastic last night.
It was good, man. I mean, this is the best Kevin Owens has been since Jericho left. I mean, God, that whole Face of America thing.
Since that Vince angle, Kevin Owens he just feels hot again. And they had really, he had really cooled off there for a bit. So it's great to see.
Oh man. So I got WWE 2K18. I broke down and pre-ordered on Friday so I could get it 4 days early, then started playing it and said immediately, why did I let them sucker me again with those commercials into thinking it was going to be different this year? But Kevin Owens' entrance is the Face of America entrance. It's just, like the gimmick that made it into the game.
That sucks.
Yeah. Yeah, man. Do you play those each year? I know Matt does.
No, it's been a while.
Yeah, it's the same engine that it's been for a couple of years, but now there's more backstage mode, and a better roster. But yeah, it's something, man. It's something. I know I've been seeing a lot of our listeners and watchers on Twitter talking about it, and people are enjoying it. I think for me, I love the My Career mode. I actually broke down, man. I don't know. Do you play games much now at all? Like Xbox One, PS4? If
I had time, I would, but no.
I literally, it's the one thing I'll do. I will stay. I mean, like last night.
I'm not saying that you have lots of time, but
no, I'm not. In fact, that's why tonight, if I look more tired than usual, it's because WWE and South Park both came out this week, and those are two games I wanted to play. But just the load times in the WWE game, I actually dropped $150 on a solid state drive for my Xbox to speed up the load times because it was unbearable to sit there. That's you got like 3 minutes every time you switch scenes. I don't know how they get away with that in this modern era.
Huh.
Yeah, it's the most annoying part of it. It literally broke me. But anyhow, back to SmackDown, man. So
I miss the old games, honestly. Like the old arcade wrestling games, like Punch Out and stuff like that. I still think pro wrestling on the Nintendo, and I'm dating myself, but yeah, on NES is probably the funnest pro wrestling game I ever played.
Man, they should I'm surprised they haven't done that as a browser game, or for mobile, something like that. A simple 8-bit 2D side scroll feel wrestling game. Cause I mean, I don't know. It's the mechanics aren't that different. It's just slower and in 3D.
I remember I bought that game, and then WWE, they had their game with Acclaim, and I bought that, and that was the worst piece of crap game. It would just, and you're just shocked that, you know, this independent pro wrestling game, or I don't know if actually Nintendo made it.
No, Nintendo made it.
Nintendo made it, but it just killed WWE's game out of the water.
Oh, no, Acclaim was notorious. They had the Midway games, the home rights to Mortal Kombat, NBA Jam, but aside from that, Acclaim was notorious for making terrible video games.
Yeah.
Just by and large. And the WWE games, when Acclaim had that license, it was bad, man. All the ones people have nostalgia for are the ones that came after Acclaim lost that, and I think THQ took it over. But now 2K18, I mean, look, man, the roster's good, the graphics are good, Creator Wrestler is really good. It's just the load times, and it's buggy. I mean, to me, this felt like an open beta playing the new game. You had like the wrong wrestler name. You know, you'd have your opponent's name over your guy when you start the match. The sound would just break intermittently, and you get no entrance music. You know, it's just for a game that I literally paid, what was it, like $89 to get the deluxe edition pre-order. It's just ridiculously broken.
You guys got to check this out. Craig posted this thing on our Facebook page. It's probably, I think it was posted yesterday, so you just scroll down a little bit. But someone redid Miz and Maurice's entrance with Roman Reigns and Vince McMahon. It is the greatest thing. You guys gotta check it out. Go under videos, go to our Facebook page, facebook.com/wrestling inc, and go to the video section. It's the top one on there, and it's just genius.
I'll tell you this though, man. I played my first match and I said, okay, this is gonna be good. I'm gonna get used to the new controls. I lost to Kurt Hawkins in my first match because they changed enough of the controls that I didn't know what I was doing. Kurt Hawkins picked up a win. I didn't even know he had a finisher.
He does?
In the game,
he hasn't won yet. So
yeah, in the game he does.
Yeah. Wow.
So you want to see Kurt Hawkins win? Get 2K18. But yeah, it's something. I'm sure Matt, once the election is over, well, depending on how the election goes, I'm sure Matt will get into it. We could talk about our creator wrestlers again, because that is podcast gold.
There you go.
Yeah, and if anyone is on Xbox Live, and you want my creator wrestler Glenergizer to make an invasion in your My Career mode, add me on Xbox. My gamer tag is Mad Menorah. So tweet at me if you didn't pick that up. Anyhow, yes, Owens and Zayn last night. Daniel Bryan seemed even surprised by the amount of cheers that he got last night. I mean, he knows he's popular in Seattle, but that was something.
It really seems like WWE is poking the bear with these, with the you can't wrestle anymore. You know, like, are they like goading him because they know he clearly wants to? Like, it almost seems like, yeah, it's just weird. Like, instead of trying to make him happy in his current role, they're putting it in his face that he can't wrestle again when he probably will. So just an odd thing.
Sometimes things happen on SmackDown Live in general that make me wonder how much Vince McMahon's actually paying attention. Aside from the fact that Jinder is champ, I think Road Dogg might just be, you know, managing something that's going to blow up in his face if Vince actually paid attention to everything that happens on SmackDown Live.
Yeah.
But yeah, I like seeing that reaction from the crowd. I mean, he's got to know that he has absolutely nothing to lose in leaving the company and going back. And you listen to what he said in the Edge and Christian podcast. I mean, he didn't accuse anyone, but he certainly made a case that he got almost kind of railroaded into retiring.
Oh yeah. Yeah. It definitely, I mean, from everything we've seen, he can probably get cleared. It's just the WWE doctor that's not clearing him. And the one diagnosis that he had with the lesions on his brain, he's gotten second and third opinions on that, and it doesn't look like something that would stop him from getting cleared.
Yeah, man. So Sammy in his heel turn last night, dissing D. Bry.
Sammy was awesome. I thought he was just fantastic.
So do you think this is all going to stop when they look at the SmackDown ratings and they blame him as opposed to Jinder?
No, they're not going to. I mean, the SmackDown ratings are where they are. They're not really down. They're not up. They're just, you know, that 2.4 to 2.6 million mark. And I mean, WWE is more or less at the point now where a couple stars don't make a big difference. Like if you have a hot program, that'll help. Like Lesnar and Samoa Joe help Raw get out from under 3 million to pushing it over. But Sammy's not going to get blamed on SmackDown. Yeah. So after this, I thought the show pretty much sucked.
What, you didn't pop for the 6-woman tag that followed it?
Yeah, well, I wonder how many times we've seen that same tag.
We counted last year the amount of times they did this in a year period. I mean, it was something absurd. It's something like 60% or 70% of all SmackDown Live matches are multi-women matches.
Yeah, I believe it. What percentage of SmackDown women's matches do you think are multi-woman?
I think
it's got to be like 90.
Feels like it, but it was higher. It was higher than 60. Someone actually did the math.
You meant gotcha. You meant SmackDown women's matches, just not SmackDown matches in general.
Yeah, SmackDown matches in general. I would say I feel like they do with the tag division, right? But they're backing off that a little now. They do. SmackDown's always had but that was when it was a B show. Like, let's do the weird tag match. I feel like the tag matches in general aren't as bad for just pairing up single stars. I mean, last night they did in the main event, obviously. But I think that with the women in the tag division is where they've really just beat it to death.
Oh gosh, they do that over and over. Just these multi-women matches where you're not giving them their own storylines and you just clump them all together. That's why the women's revolution is not that different from the Divas, Divas division, except that the matches are better.
And what's going on Raw, man? Raw now, granted 3-hour show, but 3 women's events, 3 women's singles matches are going to happen Sunday night. 3 women's storylines.
Yeah, no, that's great, but it's kind of an anomaly because you got Asuka debuting.
Yeah,
I'm sure Survivor Series will be, well, maybe we'll get 3 at Survivor Series, but
yeah,
just the storylines are nothing you really get that vested into.
Well, if Carmella doesn't cash in, I mean, what other storyline is there right now with Charlotte? They're already treating Charlotte like she's the champ in terms of how they talk about her, and are building her on there. So aside from Carmella, I mean, I don't know, Lana last night wrestling with a hairstyle I don't think I've seen in a WWE ring, except maybe in archive footage from back in Mae Young's day. But yeah, on SmackDown, man, they really need something. But who knows, man? If Sami Zayn's getting a push, maybe Becky Lynch will turn heel and they'll give her something at some point.
Yeah. So the Charlotte's team won that with the figure 8 on Lana.
Yeah. I'm going to say this last night. I thought the Fashion Files was the first really weak one they've done.
I thought it sucked.
Yeah.
I thought it was bad. I was like, I hate using the term jump the shark because that term jumped the shark a long time ago, but
they used the term jump the shark in the episode.
There was like an episode of The Simpsons once where they called it the worst episode ever, and it was a terrible episode. That's what this felt like. I thought it sucked.
The Ascension was the high point of the last night, but yeah, man, do something different. They gotta, and did you
have them start wrestling again?
Seriously.
Because after a while, this stuff gets old, and you're starting to see it now.
Yeah. Oh, it was painful last night. That was one of those last night where please no one, because we've had, with the fires and whatnot, we've had people staying with us and hanging out at our place more. It's one of those, please let no non-wrestling fans enter the room when this is on. Because I don't even want to have to explain what I'm watching. It was cringy, which is rare for that. But speaking of cringe, oh man, Baron Corbin versus Sin Cara.
Oh, gosh. You want to talk about the U.S. title, how quickly it could go downhill. You went from Cena and AJ Styles battling over it to this is your new feud.
This is back like when Ryback had the belt,
Yeah. Yeah, where Ryback and Kalisto were feuding on every kickoff show. Oh, man. It's like the U.S. title is devolved.
Which is Corbin. No, I liked.
Sorry, go ahead.
I liked his promo. I liked his thing about the U.S. Open, U.S. Challenge is closed. I thought that was cute. I mean, he came out there. He did his thing, but yeah, man, Corbin needs someone, I think, to bring out the best in him, and I don't think this is it.
And this isn't anything against Sin Cara either. No. If they had been pushing him recently. But this is, again, the same thing I've talked about before, where you push someone as a jobber for so long and then put them in the title picture. People just roll their eyes. They don't see him at that level, and just throwing him in there. Look at Jinder. No one sees him at that level. And they've been protecting him hard.
When's the last time Sin Cara cut a promo?
I have no idea.
I mean, at least with Jinder, look, say what you will about the results, but with Jinder, they committed to it and they put him in that role. And I think Jinder is in the absolute best he could in being at this level. Now, for better or worse, he's doing the absolute best he can. But with Sin Cara, I mean, no one takes that seriously against Corbin when it's just that's seen as such a filler role. Yeah.
I mean, again, it's a broken record, but Jinder, I think if they would have pushed him at the U.S. title level first and then get him ready for the world title level, I think it would have been way more successful.
Yeah. So what did you think last night of that backstage segment with the Usos and Gable and Benjamin? It seemed kind of tough to tell who was the face and who was the heel by the end of that.
With what?
With the Gable and Benjamin backstage with the Usos, then doing the Usos putting out their hand for the handshake, and then Gable psyching him. I mean, that was. I
hope so, because I thought Chad Gable was annoying as hell in that promo. So I hope so.
That was his character, man. That's what made Jordan and Gable. That's what made American Alpha great originally. Was Gable being so annoying and Jordan just kind of being like. Just put upon it.
The straight guy to yeah. So hope again. I think Gable could use a spark. Him and Shelton has just been dead so far, and it feels like them being in the tag title picture is more just they have no one else. So I hope so. Because I think the Usos, they're so hot right now that they could use a team that's not dead.
Yeah. No, Usos are one of the things that keeps me tuning in every week. I mean, they're just so good.
Yeah.
And I thought last night their promo was fantastic. So we'll see. We'll see where it goes. And after that, the Bludgeon Brothers. We got another vignette there. And they're in the swamp.
This time they actually
so weird.
They swung the mallets. They didn't swing the mallets last week, right?
No, they just held them and looked menacingly.
God.
But remember in the WWE, everyone uses a mallet by putting their hand over the end and then poking somebody in the ribs.
And that opening segment. I was so pumped for this show, and then it just kept going down. That's one you don't want your friends around for.
Oh, like, are they purposely trying to make it a Southpaw style bad 80s 90s gimmick?
I hope so, because that's completely how it's coming off.
Oh, it's so painful. And it's weird that they're not in the Wyatts, but Eric still got his Wyatt mask. They're in a swamp. They're doing this thing. It's just, Braun Strowman worked so well when they took him out of the Wyatt family because they got him far away from that gimmick.
Yep. It's almost like it would have been better if they just cleaned these guys up, put them in suits, and like did something like that. Maybe not wrestle in suits, but just something different. Not a more comedic version of what they've been doing so far.
Yeah, or dress them up as lumberjacks or something, or maybe make them construction workers, or let's pick something a little more urban.
Or maybe keep them as far apart as possible and give them new partners or something, because this gimmick has been dead for them for years.
Yeah. Oh man.
Poor Luke Harper. That's all I gotta say.
I know.
He's so talented. I feel like you got 30 guys on creative. Someone can't come up with something better for him.
Yeah, we'll see, man. That could be one. He could be thinking about bolting.
I would if I were him. Jeez.
Yeah, at least regain some control of his career.
With his size and stuff, I mean, I could see him doing and how good he is in the ring at that size. I could see it, I could see him doing a lot on the Indies or New Japan.
Actually, here's a question. Have we heard word if Lucha Underground's getting a 4th season?
So it's looking like if they do, it's going to be an investment group. This was in the Wrestling Observer that it's a group that would not be putting near as much money into it.
Gotcha.
So either if it continues, it would be a very scaled down version of it.
Why? I'm surprised Netflix hasn't made an investment in that, given that I think it's done well on Netflix. It did better on Netflix than it did on the El Rey network that nobody gets.
Did it? I mean, they don't really release those numbers.
No, but I'm just saying it feels like I see more people talking about watching it there than they ever did back when it was on El Rey. Like I always hear Netflix since it went there. Like that's where people watch it.
I mean, I've checked out wrestling stuff on Netflix before, and that never shows up on like my recommendations or anything like that. I have to search for it.
Yeah, their algorithm is really weird, but you got to figure Glow has done well enough for them as a fictional series. Glow's getting a second season. Netflix has to figure there's probably an audience for wrestling on Netflix.
Yeah, I think the problem with Lucha Underground is that the Lucha aspect of it doesn't commit. It doesn't connect enough with the mainstream audience. You know what I mean? Like Glow, you had the women, the backstories, all that stuff that could connect to. It's similar to a lot of shows.
Yeah.
Whereas the Lucha aspect and all the masks and everything, it's more like you're reaching a, kind of a sub level, a subgroup of a group.
Well, I haven't seen anyone say this before. I don't want to hype this statement too much, but Netflix is the only entity right now that could pull a Turner against WWE because Netflix tosses stupid money at things. And if they decided they want to they're spending, was it like $8 billion in the next year on original content? If they wanted to spend $100 million on wrestling, they could like swipe any talent they wanted.
They could. I just wonder if they see the return on investment with it. Like, are you going to see subscriptions go up? Again, with Lucha Underground, I almost feel like you got to Americanize that product a little more to get it a wider audience. Yeah, it's still like too much of a niche.
Yeah,
that I've seen. With you haven't seen like that it really bursting out. You see it, a lot of wrestling fans talking about it, or they did the first couple seasons. Now I feel like you don't hear anybody talking about it.
Yeah, I think part of it was that it was too slow to get on Netflix. I think the El Rey network, I mean, it's hard to have a hot show on a network nobody gets.
Yeah, and I think some of the storylines too, I just feel like it's not, when you have murders and stuff like that, but then you have Rey Mysterio and guys that are on WWE TV in those same characters. They're not too different. You're not detached enough from the wrestling world that we know to make those storylines believable. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, Glow, if they did a death in Glow, it would be believable because it's not attached to the wrestling world that we know.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I mean, there's something to be said for just something entirely fiction. So back to SmackDown, we saw the video from Jinder's promotional trip to India. It was interesting. What was it Michael Cole said that talking about the tour, referred to him as a homegrown champion in India, which I thought was, is
that what he said?
Yeah, I was like, that's a weird stretch of the term. I didn't know Canada was part of India.
Right, yeah, that's a... And real quick to our fans in India, happy Diwali. Today is Diwali out there. So, yeah.
Man, but I thought the Jinder promo, it's setting it up with AJ, but Jinder's talking about he's going to face Brock at Survivor Series. Yeah, man, lots to unpack there.
So AJ is the house show feud. They'll probably wrestle at the December pay-per-view. And Jinder and Brock, such a weird match.
Unless Brock has some respect for him, like Samoa Joe style, and is going to for him and do something with it. I mean, I think this is going to be a squash that's just going to immediately underline that SmackDown is the B show.
Well, that's what makes it interesting is, when I first heard the match, I'm like, what the hell are they thinking? But then it's like, well, how are they actually going to do it? Like, are they going to squash Jinder 3 weeks before he goes to India when they've been making this big deal? And making them look so strong for this long. The fact that he beat Orton twice, someone that they've always really protected. And I mean, I think we all assume that Brock is winning, but I almost don't think anyone's going to win. I think it'll be like a double DQ or, a disqualification. And then Brock just goes to town on the Singh brothers afterwards, just throwing them all over the place. Because I don't think they're I think they would be really stupid to squash Jinder at this point. It just makes the WWE Championship look, like a C-level belt.
Oh yeah, but
And
I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
So talk about dragging out the AJ feud. So next week we're gonna have one of the Singh brothers versus AJ Styles.
Yeah, and then the other one the following week. Yeah, I mean they got to do something for live events. Nakamura has been done, and yeah, it's not like Brock's gonna be on SmackDown every week to push this match. So it's just weird. It's a weird thing.
Yeah, I mean SmackDown. That's where I say it feels like no one's paying attention to it. That this is the show. This is what's happening with all of it. Jinder Mahal is going to face Brock Lesnar. Okay.
Well, here's where I can kind of see the logic too. They don't want to give away AJ at the Survivor Series and then have nothing for the December pay-per-view. I mean, I guess they could do a schmaz or something, but
yeah,
it buys them a little time to do Jinder versus AJ on pay-per-view.
Yeah. Man. So Bobby Roode versus Dolph Ziggler.
So Roode is already
losing
to Dolph of all people.
I was gonna say that seemed like the quickest debut to loss in recent memory.
Yeah, it's been a while. They did that with Corbin too.
Yeah, but Jinder went a while without losing.
You mean
not Jinder? No, pardon me. Nakamura. Sorry, I don't know where my.
Oh yeah. Nakamura went.
Yeah,
on TV until SummerSlam.
Yeah, so I'm saying it's been a while for most of these NXT call-ups.
Well, this is like Rude, like his fourth match on SmackDown television. Like he's been working dark matches and everything. But I think he's beaten Aiden English and gosh, I can't even think of who else. Who else has he beaten?
Was it a match with Aiden English, or was it just Aiden English did something stupid and Rude dropped him?
I think his debut match was Aiden English, and then I don't think he's won. There might be one other in there, but anyway, I think, man, it's not a good sign.
Yeah,
and I look at him, and all the stuff I saw in him before, I just don't see it in his current role. I think that smile just looks. It's not a babyface smile. It looks disingenuous and corny. I think get rid of it. If you're going to be a babyface, get rid of that disingenuous smile. And I don't know, turn heel. He really needs it.
I mean, turn heel. I always thought he was a heel. I still don't think he's a face. I feel like
he's booked on the face side.
Yeah, but he's kind of just like a not. He's a heel, but he's not acting like a dick at the moment. I feel like that's his character. At the time.
Even his promos, like he's very complimentary with Dolph when he did it a couple of weeks ago.
Just with Dolph, get rid of that goddamn record scratch at the beginning. It makes no sense.
Yeah.
At all. Which is otherwise. I mean, it's actually Dolph. That promo or that entrance is badass with him just coming out. I think if they just did that, I actually feel like Dolph is getting more out of this feud than Bobby Roode is.
Yeah, I agree. I think he seems Dolph seems to be the bigger star in this feud.
Yeah. Although with Dolph, it's kind of they do this now. This is the new normal, right? Once or twice a year, it's Charlie Brown with the football. Like, hey, Dolph's getting a bit of a push, guys, and then nope, back down to the lower mid card you go. So we'll see.
It's too bad because they really need guys up there, to fill out the top.
Yeah, he's someone that I think outside of the WWE, when he was, working people about leaving last year and talking about taking bookings and stuff like that, I feel like Dolph would be he I think would do a better version of what Cody Rhodes has done. On the indies.
Yeah, I could see that too.
Yeah, I think he would have a very, very bright future outside of the company, but I think they give him just enough to keep him. It seems like they book him just well enough for him not to bolt.
They put him in the title picture when it's contract renegotiation time, and as soon as he signs, they start burying him again. Yeah, even though again, he's not necessarily being buried here. He's more entertaining than Rude right now, so they need to figure out what they're doing wrong.
Yeah, I mean,
Rude is when Rude is on as a heel, he's a really good heel, and he can be an intense, just unlikable SOB.
Oh yeah, no, definitely. Dolph has inherited what's that? People used to say in the '90s, that sort of jobber to the stars I feel like Dolph's kind of got that role now.
It's been built in for a while.
Yeah. So what do you make of Aiden English and Rusev backstage doing the segment with the New Day last night?
I like Aiden English and Rusev. I like them together. I don't like Rusev where he is on the card right now, and him being in a tag team feud keeps him there. But I think it'll be entertaining. I like the New Day again. Like they were bugging the hell out of me for a while, but they've been I don't know if it's fresher material or just a change of scenery, but I definitely feel like they've picked it up a little. So I like the Rusev and Aiden English combo. Like even when what did Rusev say to Aiden English last night in that backstage segment? Aiden was singing or something. It was not right now, something like that.
Yeah.
The way he deadpanned it, I could see that going somewhere.
I think there's some life there. Aiden English, I think this is the best he's been since the Vaudevillains. Not that the Vaudevillains was a huge career high, but since he's been solo, I feel like he clicks with Rusev.
Yeah. My only problem with this is it screams mid-card.
Oh, definitely.
But if they could burst out of it, good for them.
But the New Day are kind of in that role, right? And it's a slippery slope because how long do you go with sort of accepting this and being, a serious comedy actor or a comedy act that can wrestle, that pops? I mean, this is how guys like R-Truth become R-Truth. Is that it's like, oh, it's funny and he can wrestle. Oh, he doesn't need a title. He's over enough with the crowd. We'll just keep booking him in these segments. And the next thing you know, you're in a tag team with Goldust and you're an afterthought. Yeah.
I don't see them doing that with New Day anytime soon, just because.
No, I'm not saying it's an intentional thing. I'm saying this is how it happens.
Right. That's where the skid downhill starts.
Yeah.
But, yeah. I mean, you rarely see comedy guys make it to the main event level and stay there. They have to change something up. Edge and Christian. Edge, when he was with Christian, he wasn't a main event guy. It was when he turned heel and started getting paired with Lita, and he became just a total prick that he got to that main event level.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you, man, New Day and the Usos, Hell in a Cell, that was a fantastic match. New Day has really done great work in the ring, but it seems that, I think the crowd views them as entertainers first and wrestlers second at this point. So,
yeah, we'll see. I don't know if the Usos feud might have turned that around a little bit, but it gives them both something, and I think those matches should be good.
Yeah, man. So the main event, Nakamura and Randy Orton versus Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn. Sami Zayn pinning Randy Orton at the end of it.
Yeah.
After a low blow.
Good for them, because, I always talk about when you turn someone, you got to give them some momentum. It's like it's almost like a new character, and you don't want them losing right off the bat. Otherwise, you're just putting them back to where they were, and the turn is all for naught. So
absolutely thought where it was going. Absolutely thought that's how it was going to end last night with Zayn taking the pin.
Yeah, I almost thought the same thing. But I'm glad they didn't do it. And I think that was the best finish that they could have done. Because Orton is so established. And Nakamura, I feel like, doesn't have that same heat right now.
Yeah.
I feel like he's really cooled off.
The only thing they could have done to make it better is to change Sammy's finish as a heel, and for once have him do the sit out power bomb and have it convert to the pin. That was my only wish to see that happen. Have you noticed that's always Sammy's move? Is a sit out power bomb and never gets the pin.
Yeah,
that would have been the one nice continuity nod.
Yeah, or add something. Yeah, what did he? How did he beat Orton? What was it?
The
haluva kick.
Yeah, before that, low blow, then haluva kick, and then the pin.
Yeah, so I actually like that, because I think when people have been kicking out nonstop and then all of a sudden he gets the win with it, it looks a little hokey.
I know. It's just one of those things. It's such a badass move. The haluva kick. I mean, look, we've talked before. I'm a big Sami Zayn mark. I think the haluva kick is a dumb finisher. It looks like it really hurts though. Oh, it looks like it hurts him. You're essentially running and doing the splits up against the ring post to a guy's face. I mean,
but you catch that foot in your face, it's gonna hurt.
Yeah, but that sit out power bomb looks so awesome, and he always does the fist raise after. I don't know. I just think that to me looks like more like a big finish, you know?
Yeah, or you could do the combo Haluva
Yeah.
kicks into the sit out power bomb. Like they come stumbling forward and then do it.
The best thing he has, but he can't do it with everyone, is that rolling Yoshi tonic, where he does the power bomb reversal into going around the sunset flip power bomb, the full 360. That's badass, but he can't do that with every opponent.
Yeah. So real quick, for I guess they're going here. I don't know if it's going to be Owens and Nakamura and Sammy and Orton or vice versa, but that's where it's headed. I'd like to see Sammy and Nakamura again, because I think Nakamura is in the spot where he's cooled off so much. I don't know what you could do personality wise to give him that spark, but if you start putting him these feuds where he has kick-ass matches, and Sammy is one of those guys that could really deliver it, I think more than Owens. I feel like they have more of a chemistry there. I think you can start, giving us some steam again.
I've only been to, I think now, maybe 20 live wrestling events, but I think Sami Zayn versus Nakamura at TakeOver Dallas is the best match I've ever seen live.
That was awesome. I mean, the whole atmosphere, everything about it felt like a huge deal.
Yeah,
and I think that could give Nakamura that spark.
No, absolutely. I think they're going to keep them together in segments, though, for a while. So last night, with them putting each other over, or Kevin putting Sammy over.
Oh, yeah, that was the best part.
And the hold me tight at the end.
I thought that was great.
It's fantastic.
I love that. So I thought I loved the beginning of the show. I like the main event, and then everything else. Man, I thought it was a lot of cringe in between.
Yeah, but hey, it is, literally the Kevin Owens show now, and this is the best that KO has been, the best that Sammy's been, and we'll see when Shane McMahon comes back next week if it puts a stop to all the fun.
Yeah.
But yeah, they're going to pivot into, I'm sure, a Survivor Series storyline with Shane now going forward, and I don't know. So when we talk about it, yeah, the highs last night were really high, and the rest was just sort of, well, it's an episode of SmackDown. What are you going to do? It's kind of the middle.
Yeah, I thought the rest of it was, for me, it wasn't even in the middle. I thought the rest of it was just crap. So, but the highs were high enough that I thought it was, I had to grade it like 6.5, 7 out of 10.
Yeah. So let's quickly talk about TLC for Sunday. So we'll be here after TLC ends on the East Coast talking about it live.
Matt Morgan's a maybe. He has an appearance in Miami, but he's going to try to make it.
Yeah. So, and remember, guys, cut Matt some slack. I know people out there are grumbling, about, Matt this and Matt that. It's like, okay, look, working a job, running for city office and campaigning and going out there, shaking hands, knocking on doors, and finding time to watch all of this WWE programming, and then come on the air and talk about it, run his own business on the side. I mean, he's a incredibly busy guy.
And it's almost midnight when he's coming on. It's like after all that, watching all that wrestling, then coming on.
And I will say this, on the air, off the air, Matt absolutely loves and respects the fans and appreciates so much that people, come out for him and support him in everything he does, including the Wrestling Inc. podcast. So yeah, fingers crossed he'll be here Sunday night.
Yeah.
But quickly, man, Alicia Fox versus Sasha Banks in the pre-show.
Sasha.
Yeah. Alexa Bliss and Mickie James.
Alexa.
Yeah, man. Mickey's been so good in this little mini run.
I could see them doing a DQ almost like they did with Charlotte and Natalya to keep it going, especially now that Nia's, MIA.
Yeah.
Because that's where it seemed like they were headed, was Alexa and Nia. And if they're not going there, I don't think they want to put Alexa and Asuka right off the bat. So keep this going a little bit. I'm all for it, but I don't see Mickie winning the title.
Did you watch Raw on Monday night?
Yep.
So that segment backstage after Mickie and Bayley looked back like she was NXT fangirl era Bayley compared to Mickie, who looked like a complete star backstage.
Yeah, no, I thought Mickie had one of her best promos since she's been back. I think that was her best promo, because it seemed real. It didn't seem like she was trying to, the only thing, that biscuit butt thing seems forced, but the rest of it didn't.
Yeah.
I thought she, when she was almost tearing up, you believe that she really was. So I thought she was great there.
Absolutely. The Shield versus Braun Strowman, The Miz, Cesaro and Sheamus, and a returning Kane.
Yeah.
I mean, the Shield's going to win this, right?
They have to. I almost think it's going to be Roman pinning Strowman. But
I think Kane's going to take the pin on this.
I think they keep Kane and Roman till the next pay-per-view.
How can Kane do this running for office?
Well, it's not for another year, right? So he got the groundwork going. If he working a few dates during the month.
Yeah. I mean, it was great to see Kane back. That was literally that was a very big surprise to me.
Yeah, I feel like Kane can't be done yet because they haven't even they didn't even mention that Roman possibly retired the Undertaker, right? Did they even say that on Raw?
They didn't, but I think we're all speculating that's the angle.
Right. So they still need to go with that story as opposed, I think just having Roman beat Kane right off the bat, you're missing that. And it seems Kane, every time he returns, it seems like what's old is new again. And, so I think that continues.
Yeah. Asuka versus Emma. How are the betting odds looking on Asuka versus Emma, Raj?
So sorry about that, guys.
It's okay.
Grand Central Station today. I haven't seen the betting odds, but I'm sure those are the longest odds on the show.
20-1, 100-1, 1,000-1.
Yeah, it's got. I mean, that's what I would guess. But WWE has done stuff in the past where it hasn't made sense.
Can you imagine Asuka eats the pin? They've been building her up all this. She just comes out for her TLC match, and then Emma just squashes her.
Yeah. It would make no sense, but you wouldn't be expecting it.
Yeah, that's true.
Asuka's got to win.
Vince loves moments. That would be a moment.
Yeah.
Oh man. Yeah, so Asuka is. I mean, and they're playing up Asuka's undefeated streak and all that. I mean, that's not. Right. They're not dropping that.
Yeah, they're still. So yeah, I don't know if they continue the count, which they've never done. WWE has never done that. Where WCW did the count and then they messed it up, but WWE never did it.
Yeah. Kalisto defending the Cruiserweight Championship against Enzo.
And when I say WWE never did it, I meant like for people on the main roster when they do an undefeated streak, they never keep count. They did in NXT, obviously. Enzo regains it.
Yeah. And the other tag match, the Brian Kendrick and Jack Gallagher versus Cedric and Rich Swann.
It doesn't matter at all. Like 0%. Alexander and Rich Swann.
Yeah. And then the Demon, Finn Balor versus Sister Abigail, Bray Wyatt.
The Demon again?
Yeah. Which is weird, right? I mean, Bray, they finally pulled the trigger on this. This is the biggest piece of the Bray Wyatt mythology they have gone forward with, and he's gonna lose another feud with it.
That was the dumbest. That was the dumbest segment I think I've seen this year on Raw. Was that
really
Finn saying that demons are? He used to not think that demons and witches were real, but now he does, and it just really insults anyone above the age of 8, their intelligence.
Yeah.
Now, does Bray come like Goldust at WrestleMania 12, with the negligee underneath, or?
I think Bray is just gonna be Bray with the shawl over his head.
I hope so.
Coming out looking like he's wearing a curtain, like a lacy curtain over his head.
I gotta wonder how the fans take this. Are they gonna just laugh at Bray and shit all over it, or take it serious? You didn't think that? You didn't think that segment was beyond stupid?
For the WWE, remember the Bailey "This Is Your Life" segment? I mean, there's been a lot of bad segments. So I'm just saying, I'm not agreeing that it's terrible. I'm just saying like the worst. Like
this year.
We're in October, man. It's been a long year. I know there have been worse segments than this. They're escaping me at the moment, but I feel like it didn't happen in the ring. I feel like when it's a videotape segment, I'll cut it a little more slack because it's not as comfortable. It's not as uncomfortable.
I don't know.
No, but it's
when you have one of your top baby faces acting like they're scared of ghosts and believing in ghosts.
But no, look, we've done that with the demon shtick all along. About summoning. I mean, so it's kind of been there. The new Pumpkinhead makeup. I don't know how I feel about that.
They should have just brought back Halloween Havoc.
Yeah, no, seriously.
You're going this route. Anyway, that's gonna be. I'm almost like excited for that match in a train wreck kind of way.
Like when I'm like, oh, the Marine 5 comes out next week. Like, yeah, it's like that kind of excitement. I almost wonder if they pull some sort of double thing, if they have someone double for Bray, maybe, I mean, maybe Bo, but probably he's not the Rock Body type. If they have someone double for Bray's sister Abigail, then Bray sneaks up on Finn or something.
Well, Bo's been sick.
And,
yeah. He's been out for a couple weeks, and Bray's been gone too. So I don't know what's going on there, but hopefully he's okay.
But what I'm saying is that no, I agree. I hope Bo Dallas is okay. It has been weird having the Miz Taraj just with Curtis Axel holding that down this whole time. Yeah. It looks weirder when it's with the Miz Taraj as the Miz and one guy.
Yeah, it's almost better if they just didn't have Curtis out there as well.
Yeah. But the only way they could redeem this is if they have the entrance and it's a Bray double in the Sister Abigail thing, and then Bray uses that as a distraction. I think that's the only way to redeem this storyline right now.
The only way to redeem it is to end it. Just have a quick match and move on. This is not doing Finn any favors. Bray, they've kind of been doing what they've been doing with him creatively. He's in desperate need of a revamp. Yeah,
well, hey, Sister Abigail. That's your revamp right there.
Let's see.
Yeah, man. So we'll be back here Sunday night after TLC to talk about how this actually goes down, not in theory, but execution. And I'm sure we'll have some more thoughts about it then.
Yeah, for sure.
Raj, what should people look for on the site? Updates? Anyone about more wrestlers texting you? People calling the Wrestling Inc. hotline? Scoops?
No, it's just follow-ups hopefully on Neville and Nia Jax. And then, we got the pay-per-view this weekend, so it's going to be busy.
Yeah, man. So we'll see you back here on Sunday. Until next time, folks, I'm Glenn Rubenstein, and thanks for tuning in to the Wrestling Inc. podcast. Take care.